Hey everyone, we are Alex and Tina. Since 2019, we started a travel blog named The Daily Packers, and since 2023, a YouTube channel in order to journalize all our adventure. We are a couple from France and Serbia who met in China back in 2014. Together, we traveled to more than 40 countries. In April 2023, we spent 3 weeks in Vietnam, where we visited the north and the center of the country. This video will be about our 3-day cruise in LanHa Bay. Today we embark on a 3-day, 2-night cruise on board the Vietnamese Spirit. The first part of the day will be the transportation until the ship. So we started earlier with a buffet breakfast where we found a mix of local and foreign food. What is it? Okay. How do you eat that?
I guess you it's just like this.
It's not bad. What's fun? Good hands.
No, those are not good.
Ah.
I don't know. There is a big
Seed.
seed inside.
At 10:08, we went in front of our hotel, where a minibus picked us. Once on the minibus, we picked up another family of 4, making a grand total of 14 people on board. By 8:23, we then left toward the coast. At this moment, we met our guide, Jimmy, a 33-year-old single Vietnamese man looking for a girlfriend. After introducing himself, we received a little bottle of water and were asked about our food restriction. It's a 2.5-hour ride to reach our destination, so Jamie started giving us some facts about Vietnam, some of which were, due to COVID, the population rised up because people had to stay at home for 2 years. And obviously, while staying at home, they made lots of baby. Food, mostly rice, was provided directly by the government in front of their house for 2 years. In Halong Bay, there were 530 boats, but also due to COVID and bankruptcy, this number was reduced to 400. In 1993, Halong Bay opened for tourists. There were around 7 floating villages in the bay for 1,500 villagers. In Vietnam, VAT is 10%, plus an extra 3.5% for any transaction with credit card, local or foreign. 113 is the safety hotline number to remember. If you call it, the police will be there within a minute. Vietnam is extremely safe, and that's because the police is much harder than other countries. Also, Vietnam is oriented toward tourists and wants to take care of them. Also, if you're interested, here is Jimmy's real voice.
Why you don't marry and you're not boy or girl or something like that?
At 10:20 we made a 40-minute break. It was a huge station with massive and clean toilets, lot of stores selling pearl, a restaurant and even a coffee shop. At that time we learned that Halong City is famous for oysters which are cultivated here, and therefore they are treating a lot of pearl and making everything out of it. We then kept on to the island of Dao Tao Chow, where the port is. The island is like a ghost town. There are lots of construction around and tons of unfinished buildings, primarily due to COVID, and unfortunately nowadays nobody wants to reinvest in it. By 11:15 we arrive at the marina, where we will take a smaller boat to get on the Viet Spirit. Once our bags tagged, we waited around 30 minutes, and by 12:05 the Viet Spirit transfer boat arrived. After a short ride, we arrive on the main boat. By the way, Viet Spirit, the name of our boat, stands for Vietnamese Spirit. Before getting to our room, we all regroup in the dining area, where we receive a welcoming word and all safety information. We also receive our room key, and our luggage were waiting in front of them. Time to discover our room. We booked the junior suite balcony, which was the lowest rate room. The room was 26 square meters and was beautifully decorated. The double bed was queen size, if I am not mistaken, and was really comfortable. The bathroom, which was huge, had a shower, a toilet, and even a bathtub. But the best part was the small balcony with its little table and chairs. There was a mini bar, a kettle and complimentary water, as well as a little wardrobe and 2 life jackets. And of course, a couple of plugs were around. The bathroom also had all amenities that we would need. After sitting down, lunch was served. It was a buffet with many options, but it wasn't too vegetarian friendly. However, as we opted for this option, we received an additional sauté bok choy, corn soup, and sauté tofu with tomato dish, directly served at our table. It was really nice and just too much. We then went back to our room and chilled a bit. Alright, time for some facts about this cruise. It isn't really going to be Halong Bay that we will visit, but LanHa Bay, which is the bay next to it. We booked it online via a travel agency called Incredible Asia Journeys. It was really easy and communication was really good with them. The Vietnamese Spirit was freshly renovated in 2023, making the ship in an amazing shape. We opted for that ship because it wasn't too big, wasn't too small, and seemed pretty nice to us. The cost was for 3 days $580 USD for both of us with transfer from Hanoi to the ship and from the ship to Ninh Binh. During these 3 days, we will cruise along the bay and visit the bright and dark cave on a bamboo boat, visit Cat Ba Island, where we will bike to Viet Hai Village to learn about local culture, kayak around, try to fish squid and enjoy a luxury ship. We then walk around this beautiful boat. At that time, we saw our first shopping boat. It was cool to see. However, prices are not always cheaper than on the cruise itself, and you must bargain a lot. At 3:25 p.m, we went on the smaller boat with life jacket on for a 10-minute ride to our first excursion. We arrived at a small floating village, where it was kinda crowded and confusing. But after a while, we embarked by group of 6 on a wooden rowing boat. This boat will make us discover the bright and dark cave, which was okay to see. However, it felt quite touristy and unfortunately it wasn't possible to discuss with the rower, as he wasn't speaking a word of English.
Monkey luôn, đây chính nó này.
one.
Nhưng mà nhiều monkey luôn, nhưng mà monkey nó vào trong này rồi. Nó đi nè.
At 4:15 p.m, we were back on the small boat and 10 minutes later back on the Viet Spirit. It was then time to go swimming, if you dare. Looking at the water that is unfortunately really dirty, we opted to skip this experience and went to the rear of the ship to enjoy flying the drone around. On the rear deck, we also met an old Australian guide, super friendly and interesting, coming from a 10-day ONG trip in Nepal and stopped in Vietnam on its way back. After discussing with him a while, it was time for the 5:30 spring roll cooking class. Well, it was super easy to make, especially as the vegetables were already cut, so even myself managed to make one. From there, we picked up some complimentary fruit, our spring rolls and bought drinks to enjoy a bit longer the upper deck and the view of the bay. One thing that surprised us was how good the 4G network was there. At 6:15 p.m, we went for a shower, and at 7 dinner. The food was amazing, tasteful and delicious, and there were so many dishes. To be honest, half of it would have been more than enough. At 8:30 dinner was finished, so we went at the rear of the boat where we could try squid fishing. Well, we didn't got any, but we're actually glad about it. That was all for today, and it was now time to go to bed. Our first morning on the Vietnamese Spirit started with an early 6:15 alarm to be on time for the 6:30 Tai Chi class on the upper deck. It was really fun and such a good experience. We always wanted to try Tai Chi, so this was the perfect time for it, especially in such a setting. The class was 30 minutes and easy to follow. However, as we were 12 people, it was sometimes hard to see the instructor. But anyway, we enjoyed it. At 7 a.m., they serve what is called a light breakfast. There is a buffet with coffee, tea, milk, soy milk, toast, croissant, cucumbers, jam, shrimp salad, and so on. It wasn't too bad, but a bit too light as we are used to having a good breakfast. After breakfast, to keep enjoying our room, we got a tea and a coffee and sat on our balcony. It was super nice again. At 8:20, the speaker rang and it was time to leave on the day tour boat. Once on board, we were first asked about our food restriction and received one towel each. From there, we sat on the upper deck, enjoying the fresh air while picking up people and getting to our destination. The perfect time for Tina to sour a watermelon juice. We first thought it was free as the guy just brought lots of juices around, but we later discovered that it wasn't. A lot of people got confused at that moment. We ended up being a total of 39 people on the day tour boat. While cruising, the day guide told us about the program and gave us some more information about this area, some of which were Halong Bay has 1,956 islands, but only 1,100 islands have a name. The best time to visit is September and October. He also told us about Vietnam and some history about himself, how he was a war refugee and how he was banned from joining the Communist Party in Vietnam, which is the only party.
Very happy to be the tour guide of our diving team. Yeah? And can you hear me well?
On 10:10, we arrived in Cat Ba Island, where we were presented with two choices to reach Viet Hai Village. The first one was to take an electric tuk-tuk, the second one was to ride a bicycle. We opted for the latter. Once everyone set, we rode for 15 minutes to the village. The scenery was nice, however, as the guide told us to stick together, it was sometimes a bit slow. So we quickly decided to get on our own and join the group a bit later. We met them back in a small shop that served as tour operator and restaurant. There we received more information about the island, but the best part was the foot massage by fish. It is super weird, and it's actually really hard to keep your feet in the water. The longer you keep them in, the more fish there are on your feet. But the feeling, it's really hard to describe and really weird. Next, we went to another place to see traditional old houses and learn about Vietnamese tradition. And around 11:30, we got back on our bike and returned to the port. By noon, the boat left the port and parked just a few meters away for lunch. There, we sat with a Polish family of 3. We had a great time talking with them. They also told us that they had to change crews as their boat wasn't full enough, and that they didn't know the new ship, a part of its name. Regarding the food, it wasn't too great. There were a lot of fried food and it wasn't too tasteful. We would have preferred quality over quantity. Also, we had to buy water, as drinks were included. By 12:45, we left, and after 15 minutes, we reached a small water farm for kayaking. Once in the kayak, we went freely around the bay for 40 minutes or so. Back at the farm, we discovered that they had butterfly fish and grouper's fish, The latter is actually a pet and is not eaten. By 2 p.m. we left the fish farm and 20 minutes later we were at a new spot where we could swim. There was a small beach, but once again the water was quite dirty, so we skipped it. By 3:35 we were back on our ship. After a small welcoming drink, it was time to enjoy our room and to try a bath. We don't often take baths, but it's not every day that you can take one with such a view. Later on, we went on the upper deck where we saw more of the store boat. Someone from our ship tried to buy a bottle of Coca-Cola. It started at 200,000, then 150,000 and so on. It's apparently more expensive than the ship itself, so not such a great deal. One beer was also 50,000 before negotiating. Following that, we enjoyed a Halong beer and a ginger beer with a stunning view of the bay. As the boat was closer to the island, 4G wasn't too great today. Dinner was once again really nice, but with too many dishes. We tried asking for less, but it didn't work. For them, it seems really important that the food is more than enough. Today, we once again met a super interesting couple, this time from Australia. It seems they travel a lot and even live in Switzerland. They were here on holiday before business meeting in Singapore, so it was nice discussing with them. We woke up naturally at 5:45 am, so we stretched a bit in the room and went for Tai Chi at 6:30 on the upper deck. It was super nice at the beginning as we were only 6 people, but slowly more and more people were coming, some until 6:45, so it got a bit crowded. Once perfectly warmed up for the day, we had the 7 am light breakfast, with fruits, scrambled eggs, watermelon juice and coffee. Luckily, today was super sunny and really hot. We could even see somehow the sun. If wish, it was time for kayaking, but instead we opted to chill on the upper deck. Quick fact, most of the pollution in the bay is coming from abandoned floating village, that with time sunk. It was then time to pay the rest of the bill and to pack our stuff. Around 9:45 we had brunch. We thought it would be just a buffet, but it was actually a complete set menu, like dinner. It was once again super delicious, but just too much. Right after brunch, around 10:50 am, we left the ship for the smaller one. On our way out, we took a small peek inside the biggest room of the ship. Sweet. We dropped 2 people in Katba Island and then headed back to the port, where we arrived at 11:45. We had booked our return transfer toward Tam Coc in the Ninh Binh region to avoid going back to Hanoi. Once in the port, a guide brought us to another one who told us to wait there for 20 minutes while the return shuttle to Hanoi left immediately. At some point, another guy came and said to wait 10 more minutes and left. So it was pretty much confusing. 2 women asked us if we were going to Tam Coc. It seems we weren't the only one a bit lost. As we waited, we got some water and around 12:15 we boarded a VIP bus. The bus was comfortable and in a 2+1 seat layout. By 12:38 the bus was full and we left. One hour later, we made a 20-minute break for food and toilet. There were a lot of snacks to get there, but we just got 4 bananas. By 4:10, we arrived at the city center of Tam Coc, where a tour guide came into the bus and told us that if we had booked a transfer until our accommodation, we had to come to him. We did that and waited until 4:30 for a van to arrive. We then dropped 2 people and by 4:45 we were in our accommodation. We checked in, received a welcome drink and were shown to our room. The room was nice and simple, the view amazing, apart for a small construction on the right side. We also found a lizard in our room and tried to chase it, but it outsmarted us. Fortunately, we didn't see it after that. We then took 2 bikes that were free to use and went to the city center, which was only 15 minutes away. Dinner was at Chuki's Beer Garden, such a wonderful place. Nice Draft Dragon IPA beer and cucumber lime mint juice, yummy pizza and delicious wrap. Once our belly full, we biked a little bit in Tam Coc and stopped at some store to buy some snack and to finish the day headed back to our accommodation. If you too are planning a trip to Vietnam, we made a little something to help you, the Vietnam travel map. This digital map includes all our pins from our 3-week travel in Vietnam, as well as all our preparation pins for southern Vietnam. Therefore, our Vietnam map includes all the places we visited: Hanoi, Sapa, Halong LanHa Bay, Tam Coc Ninh Binh, Hue and Hoi An, as well as all our preparation for Phong Nha, Nha Trang, Da La, Mue Ne, Ho Chi Minh City and Phu Quoc. The best reason to get this map is that you won't need to spend time pinning all ours and others tips and recommendations. Instead, you will get the full map from this destination for online and offline use. So check it out with the link in the description.